guys are expensive. I had to just go buy some GoPro batteries, so now I'm gonna be getting my coffee. And there's this one girl here. She just has a beautiful smile. And she's working. I think I'm gonna attempt to get her number. You can tell she's just a very classy, like, pretty woman, not 20, 25, only fan type girl.
Hi, how can I help you?
Can I get a medium mocha swirl iced coffee with extra liquid? Wish me luck. She ain't working. Try. Thank you. You too. God damn it. I was really hoping she was working. Every time that I'm about to say something, she's not working. Officially at the job site. We did this roof about a week ago. 49 square foot roof. There's the 6.0. And I'll do a full walk around this here in about an hour. So I upsold them on that shed over there. We did that yesterday. Have to do the cap on it this morning. I have to double check a few things, add another coat of sealant to the chimney. We have 2 lines here on this middle roof that have to be screwed. And then Seth is showing up with the trailer. So we have a big pile of scrap here from doing this giant job. So we're gonna load up the trailer, grab a check, and get out of here and head over to Presque Isle, do a few things out there, and start another job out there. The job out there is same idea, roofing repair, except we're gonna strip everything, replace some rafters, start ground up, do some soffit, some trim, shit like that. So when we get out there, I'll do more of a in-depth video. I might just time lapse a few things I'm doing here. Go back there, trim the top pieces of drip edge. There's already cap right over here. Take this piece right here and this piece. These 2 pieces, the ends are already bent. Yep. And I think that should be it. If you end up needing a centerpiece, it's probably going to be like 4 feet at that point. I'll just use a scrap rather than use that. Yep. But it should be 2 pieces. I don't care what end you start at. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to seal, do 1 more coat of Lexel on that chimney. Yep. And then I guess we'll grind the end of this wall flat. We'll snap a line. He's got a cutting disc on his saw, so we'll try that. And then on the back side of the house, there's 2 sheets that are a little bit too long that we have to snip. And then we'll load up all the scrap and head on out to Presque Isle. I think that's the plan. Instead of doing that chimney job, we're gonna go hit Presque Isle. Right. So that's what we'll do. All right. Roof is all done. We are heading over to, well, I'm heading over to the bank real quick. We just got the trailer all loaded up. I'm gonna deposit a check, grab myself another coffee. I'm gonna unload some of my tools, and the job over in Presque Isle, I'm gonna be starting real early on that one. Cool thing is, we put a metal roof on this house that used to have shingles, right? And packing up some of my tools, I noticed about 8 bundles of shingles sitting over in his garage. And I said, hey, what are you doing with those? He goes, you can have them. Well, that's awesome. So that just saved me about $400 or $500 for the job I gotta do tomorrow. It's a repair, so it's not like I have to worry about having brand new shingles. So yeah, that is the plan. As you can see, today kind of just doing what I gotta do. I was talking to a bunch of customers, just lining up a bunch of stuff. So, you know, for all those people out there who say that there's no work or that have a hard time finding work, at the end of the day, you can do whatever you want. I mean, I've had multiple businesses. I've done so much over the past couple of years, and I'm like constantly changing what I do, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, when people ask me what I do, I say I do whatever makes a profit. I don't like billing hourly, and I haven't worked a day job 9 to 5 in many, many, many years. I like making a profit. I try to bill stuff by the square or bill it by the job. That way I make a profit. And I hear people all the time saying, oh, I can't do this, I can't start a company, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, we're in 2025, right? 2025. Start a company. Here's an easy one, okay? I'll tell you the exact ingredients on how to do it, right? Keep in mind, I just came to this area. I don't know anybody. 4.5 hours away from where I have a good reputation, everybody knows me. Came up here for 3 days, stayed in a hotel. I put 12 estimates out, booked this $36,000 roof, right? Did the roof, just wrapped it up. Also did 3 or 4 jobs in between, right? You know what I did? I had a Facebook page, simple company name, which I've had from years ago because I've been always building on the side, so I already had the established Facebook page, but at the end of the day, you're just going to make a Facebook page. Don't put a lot of time into it. A name, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you're insured, okay? Then what are you going to do? Don't run ads. Don't go on Google. Google, in my opinion, is a waste of time unless you're trying to sell a product globally, right? You're going to go on Facebook, a business page. Join a bunch of local Facebook groups. Up here, there's only 2 because it's such a small area, right? So I posted what I do in those groups. Bunch of hits, right? Second thing, once you do a job, go on Facebook. Post photos of that job, right? Don't post costs, don't post any of that, even if it's something new that you're not super experienced in, right? You're gonna post it on there, you're gonna spend $100. 3-day ad campaign, 50-mile radius on Facebook, okay? That's gonna blow you up, right? It's just gonna get your name out there. Whether you get jobs back or not, doesn't matter. People know that you're in the area doing work, right? So that's how you get work quick, right? Second thing that I do that a lot of people don't do, I do 2 estimates. You want me to come give you an estimate? Good, you're getting 2. One's gonna be to do the job to quality. The second one's gonna be above and beyond with quality. Third thing I'd say to do, right? Always add a fluctuation in or variable on your jobs, especially if you're going to be doing something that there's a lot of unknown. So when I had my body shop, you don't know what you're going to necessarily run into. Some could look pretty, but it could be full of Bondo before. Always add in a variable. When I do roofs, my estimate's based on the square footage and a visual estimate, okay? So what I mean by that is I'm going to walk your roof, I'm going to measure it. I'm going to say, hey, this is so many square. Everything looks solid. Here's your estimate. There's a 20% variable on this estimate. That is for the unknown. If I strip off a metal sheet or if I strip off some shingles and find some rot, that's where that 20% can come into play. That's how you protect yourself. And this is for stuff that you're bidding on total job or you're bidding on square, not hourly. Hourly is safe. Hourly is why 90% of the people in America live like that, because they want security. I know if I put in this amount of time, I'm going to get this back with no consequences. There's no risk, okay? That's why I don't do that. The more risk you make, the more risk you take, the more money you're going to make. Is it guaranteed? No. But nothing good ever comes without risk. That's the way I see it. But to protect myself, I always add that variable. Now, another thing that you should do if you're good at selling. I'm good at selling. That's why this is so easy for me. I'm good at talking through everything I've ever done. Easiest thing in the world. That's what I'm really, really good at. So when I go out to quote a job, like this job that we just finished that I showed you guys earlier, I went out and I quoted the roof, right? For the main house, the garage, blah, blah, blah. I knew there was that shed out back. Normally when I do roofs, I'll order myself a couple extra panels just in case. This time I ordered an extra exactly 6 sheets because I knew it would take 12 to do the garage out back. I already planned on selling them the garage, the shed out back. So we're getting towards the end, I said, hey, well, we're already here. I have 6 extra sheets. Do you want the shed down out back? Bang, bada boom, upsell, okay? I'm already at this location. They already have seen half my work. Why not sell them on something else? Am I robbing them? No. Did I give them a 50% discount on the shed? Yes, I did. But I was already there. Why not do it? An extra little bit of money won't hurt, rather than going and grabbing a quick one-day job, right? So that's another thing, is always look for upsells. I also upsold them on the chimney box that you guys saw. They wanted something that would look better. But you also have to know your limit. You can't start a job and try selling them 10,000 fucking things. So, as you guys saw with the skylight, that skylight wasn't ideal. Is it waterproof? Yes. Does it look amazing? No. Is it 100% done correctly? No. But I wasn't going to upsell them on something that is simply, like, I can make it waterproof and make it fine with what's there. Did I talk to them and say, hey, this is what I'm doing? Yes. Did they know in the back of their heads they could have asked me for a quote to change that? Yes. Did I stop myself from trying to upsell them on a $2,000 job? Yes. Because I already upsold them on the chimney and I upsold them on the shed. So at the end of the day, I don't want them to feel like I'm trying to rob them. I also should put into play, when I do an estimate, in their eyes, this customer thinks, even with my upsells, that they've saved like $5,000. I'd have to check out the invoice. So when I come to a new area, your customers want quality and they want a deal. They want fast. You can only, at the end of the day, you can only get one of those. You're either going to get something fast and expensive, you're going to get something cheap with no quality, or vice versa. So what I normally do, I jack my quote higher, right? I had, on roofing, I had an extra $100 to a square, and then on my estimate, I'll do like a 15% discount. So my customers already think that they're saving a bunch of money. What that gives me, so like I said, this customer, technically on their 49 square foot roof, on their initial estimate, on paper, it says that they saved $7,800. Me, I already know, bang, I'm gonna get $2,400 for that shed out back. Okay, so I made up to $2,400 anyway of that $7,000 they saved. I also made another $1,500 on the chimney, right? So I made $3,000. Customer still thinks that they're saving $6,000, and at the end of the day, technically I got the actual rate that I wanted. I'm not saying that's necessarily completely right by any means, but I've been doing it for years. It's never hurt me. Some jobs I'll actually do what I like. If I'm going to do $700, $800 a square, some jobs I'll actually charge that. I won't give any discount at all. That's been my comfortable number when it comes to roofing, because you can have a straight standard roof, and then you can have something that's just an architectural nightmare. The problem with that is if you have a actual square rate, their neighbor can say, hey, he just did that for $500 a square at my house. Customers might not understand, like, things change like that. So I've been at $700, $800 a square forever. If it's a relatively simple roof, I'm not going to knock it down to $500 on square. Like, on paper, I'm going to give you a 20% discount because your roof's easy. And that keeps me at $700, $800 a square all across. I'm not going to have customers talking about how I gave them a deal and this customer didn't get a deal, blah, blah, blah. So, like I said, the main ingredients: startup cost. Let's say you don't have any experience doing anything, you want to start something on the side. Okay, painting, interior painting, exterior painting, right? Low risk, easy startup, easy to get, and you're not committed to a giant project, right? Go spend $200, paint your own bathroom for all that matters. Do 4 or 5 jobs with family, super dirt cheap. Just cover your materials, do it on the side, do it on the weekends, whatever. Make sure that you have the fundamentals of it down, right? Then make a Facebook page, post those 5 jobs, okay? Simple as that. Throw $100 in your account, run a $100 50 square mile radius ad from your location on Facebook with your business page with those photos you just done. Right in here, new company or looking to start painting on the sides, here's 5 jobs that I've done. Don't lie and say you have 30 years of experience, because you will definitely get caught. And lying is the worst thing you can do with a customer, right? Go on there and say, hey,
I've just did these 5 jobs, found out I kind of have a passion for it. I'm starting doing jobs relatively cheap. Quality I do care about. However, I only have, 3 months of experience. Bang, bada, boom. Customers are going to know that you're honest. That's what matters. Customers want honesty over anything. They don't care about quality, like they do, but at the end of the day, honesty is actually what matters. If you're going to work on somebody's house, or you're going to work on the vehicle, or you're going to work on anything, they want somebody who's honest. So right off the bat, they know you're a fresh starting person, fresh starting company. You don't have a ton of experience. You're offering a discount rate. Like I said, run that advertisement, you'll get work. And just grow off that. Don't take your money and go blow it. That's the number 1 rule. You want to be an entrepreneur? Reinvest. Always, always reinvest. I don't have money sitting in the bank. I am always broke and I make a ton of money. What do I do? What are my investments? You don't make any money with money sitting in the bank at all in your savings account. You make like 0.4467% or some shit like that. I flip vehicles. If I make 20 grand on a roof, the first thing I'm doing, even my toys, I'll go spend 8 grand on a car I really want, but I'm gonna buy that car at a discount. I'll drive it for 3 months and I'll sell it for 12. If I spend 8 grand on it, I'll sell it for 12. That's my savings account. I also get to have fun with my savings account. And then at the end of the day, I make money off it. That's an easy one. Obviously, I have the knowledge. I also own a body shop, so I have the knowledge to be able to do that, but that's always been what my savings account has been forever. Flipping stuff off Marketplace. I'll also buy quick flips, $2,000 cars, and flip them for $3,500 in the weekend. But at the end of the day, I'm at the point now where I'll start spending 5, 6, 10 grand on a vehicle, have fun with it. But I always have assets that I'm also, when it comes time, if I need money or if I want to make money, I could sell my assets. So that's just kind of a quick little piece of advice that I have for anybody who says that they cannot do it, because I've been doing this since I was 19 and I'm 26 now. Never had an issue. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've learned a lot. You want to be an entrepreneur, you want to own your own business, I got news for you, it's 10 times harder than a college, especially if you do it completely by yourself. You learn financing, you learn marketing, you learn business, you learn how to deal with customers, you learn bidding, you learn competition, you learn overhead, you learn everything starting your own business, and you learn it all from mistakes. But anyway, there's a little spiel from me. Once I get going about business talking, I fucking get going, but pulling to the bank and cash this check, we're just gonna keep on rolling. All right, bank's done. So now I'm running the house real quick. One thing I like to do, I have a appointment at 5:30 with a potential customer to quote building an addition on their house. So typically what I like to do that separates me from a lot of contractors, builders, typically they show up with some beat up truck. They don't show up dressed up per se. I'm not saying I'm gonna go wear a suit and tie by any means, but I'm gonna go put on my nice boots, my nice pants, get myself cleaned up a little bit. And then a big thing that really separates is, again, a lot of contractors, they show up with a beat up truck, they show up all dirty from working all day, and then they give a verbal quote. Me, I step out of my truck, nice boots, nice pants, tucked in shirt, clean cut, and I show up with my iPad. Now, why do I show up with my iPad? Yes, it sounds kind of goofy per se, but what it means is I have my shit together. Right off the bat, when I step out of that truck with my iPad in my hands to give an estimate, they automatically assume that I have my shit together, that they're actually going to get a electronic estimate, something to visually look at, and they're not even going to have to ask if I'm insured or not, because if I spent the money on an iPad and I'm just stepping out of my truck with an iPad, you're just going to assume right off the bat, yes, I have insurance for the record, but they're not even going to have to ask that, because I've already made myself look like I am very presentable, look like I have a solid foundation, and they're going to have a paper estimate. And one thing about my estimates is I'm going to say, hey, verbally, because this is a big thing that a lot of people do. My first initial estimate, when I meet them, yes, I'll have my iPad, blah, blah, blah. I'm just taking notes. I'm taking some photos. I'm going to give them a verbal estimate with a fluctuation, right? Because here's one thing that I don't want to do, even when I do roof quotes, right? You don't want to spend 2 hours on an estimate for them to not even have the money or the funds or an idea of what it'll cost. What I do is I say, hey, here's a verbal estimate. We'll throw a $1,000, $2,000 fluctuation on it. If you guys decide that you actually are interested in a more in-depth estimate and you guys are actually ready to go, and this isn't something that's, 6 months out, I will give you something on paper. I'll let you know what the deposit is on it. It'll show you a full number breakdown. The estimate is good for 30 days. That gives the time, right? That gives them 30 days to decide, 30 days to get me a deposit. Here's my availability. 30 days to get me a deposit, I'll lock you in on my calendar. Rather than me giving an estimate in a new area, as you guys know, if I have so many estimates out, if I give a deal on something, or all those estimates call me back and I realize, hey, I'm charging too cheap because there's nobody in this area doing this or offering this service, I'm screwed, because I already wrote all these estimates. I technically am already committed to that price. Now I do a 30-day estimate. If I do a roofing job or I'm super busy, sometimes I'll do a 14-day, right? If I write a deal on it, you have 14 days to get me a deposit. That puts a rush on it, so I'm not having to sit here and wait and think about my schedule. I'm not going to have to contact them. Hey, you have 14 days to get this deal, or you have 14 days to get on this at this price. To get locked in at this price, you have 14 days, or you have 30 days to actually get me a deposit. That saves you a lot of headache. You're not wasting a ton of time with what you're doing, and that is something that I highly recommend. I've been doing this for a very, very long time. I do it with all my businesses, all the jobs that I've ever done, the whole nine. So if I can give you a little bit of advice, that's what it is, right there. Because the hardest thing is about an entrepreneur is time. That's the one thing you cannot get back. I mean, you can hire somebody to do stuff, but when it comes to time, customers or potential customers, they are not entrepreneurs. They work a 9 to 5. To them, talking to you is just an enjoyment. They'll spend an hour and a half talking to you about a potential project. For me, I'm very nice, but I'm also pretty to the bone, because I don't want to go do 20 estimates a week. Let's say I do 20 estimates a week. I put out $250,000 in estimates, right? The issue with that is if I allow people to talk my ear off for an hour and a half, that's about 30 hours a week of me wasting my time. I might close some of those deals, but that is 30 hours, okay? You don't want to spend 30 hours a week trying to find work. It is not what you want. You want to be quick to the point. You want to put a time crunch on it. You want to get them locked in. You want to get the deposit. You want to get the job done, and that's it. All right, all clean cut, right? Got my boots on, shirt's tucked in, belt on, nice shirt. We'll wash up real quick. So, gonna head on out there, gonna do this estimate. As much as I would love to sit here and record me doing a sale, that is just one thing that I'm not comfortable with for my customer. I'm comfortable with it all day. I wish I could record every interaction and show you guys how to do a sale. I could talk about it, but I cannot actually show you guys how to do a sale. The only reason I'm saying that, I don't know this customer, they don't know me, and there's always some people don't like to be on camera and everything, and if I walk up to somebody and they're the type of people who want to be private and don't want to be on camera, I'll lose the sale instant. So I'm not willing to do it. That's just something that I know better than to do. So we're not going to do that. I will tell you, when it comes to estimates, sales, etc., the sale is what you make it. I'm going to be different. Most people are going to say, don't let them say no. At the end of the day, when it really comes down to it, I want to make sure that I even want to do the job for you. I more or less handpick my customers. If I don't want to do a job, I'm not going to say that I don't want to do it, but I'm going to go in a very roundabout way, make sure that I don't get the job, or it's going to be extremely worth it. Because at the end of the day, I like the customer interaction, and if I can't interact with you or have a regular conversation with you, I'm probably not going to want to do a job with you, or for you is what I should say. From experience, if you can't get along with a customer on like even a basic normal conversation level, you probably shouldn't do work for them. It's going to bite you in the ass. But when it comes to a sale, at the end of the day, you have to be in control. That's what it really comes down to. You need to be running the show. Yes, you can ask your customer questions and they can explain to you what they really want done, but at the end of the day, you have to make sure that your overall like energy is higher than theirs. That is one of the biggest keys when it comes to sales, is if you're talking really slow, and I'm a fluent talker when I get my spiels per se, as you guys can see, like this morning, I wasn't talking that much because I didn't really necessarily have a ton to talk about, but you get me going on business, I'm flying, I'm fluent. So energy is a key when it comes to selling. Being a salesperson, energy is 95% of it. Personally, I'd say your first 30 seconds, you're gonna know who that customer is, you're gonna know if they're ready, they're also gonna know who you are. So I always say the first 30 seconds is what matters the most. After that, it doesn't really matter. Hence why, like I said, I look good. I pull up in a clean truck that's not covered in mud. I pull out with the iPad. So again, presentation, established, right? Professionalism, established. I pull out with the iPad. Okay, right there. Those are like the two biggest things. Quality, obviously, if I take care of myself, I take care of my truck, and these customers have already seen great reviews from me and great jobs from me, they don't have to worry about quality. So right off the first 30 seconds, I have professionalism already marked off, I have presentation already marked off, and I already have quality marked off. Other than that, I just have to match the energy and then find out if I actually want to do the job and if this customer has the funds to do the job. Because you'll deal with a lot of people who want half-assed stuff done. I will go straight into the bat. It even says in almost every post I make, if you want something cheap or half-assed, I'm not doing it. I don't say it like that because that's not very professional. But at the end of the day, I let people know that I am not cheap and that I will only do it right, or I'm going to walk off the job. That's it. That's all there is to it. Another thing when it comes to selling, confidence, that's everything. You have to be confident in yourself and confident in your work. In other words, how do you expect your customer to be confident in you? You're not going to make a sale if you're not confident. Good practice for confidence. We'll try it again. Maybe I'll post what I posted this morning, but there's a girl at Dunkin' Donuts here. She's beautiful. I will say I'm not one to entertain girls, but at the end of the day, if you could just give a girl a nice like compliment or something along the lines of that, that's an easy confidence boost for yourself. It's super easy. There's thousands of women out there. It's as simple as saying, I like your shirt in a store. There's nothing weird about it. It's going to make them feel good, and it's good practice confidence. Where else are you going to get confident? It's not like we're in high school and you can get up on stage anymore. So that is super, super, super easy practice, because you have to remember, it's a 2-second interaction. You say, wow, you have a beautiful shirt, or I really like your smile. You might chat for a second and then you walk away. If you don't have confidence, how are you going to walk up to a customer, stay there, hang out there, get your measurements or whatever you're doing, figure out a solution for them, give an estimate, and sell them? You're not going to be able to do that if you don't have any confidence. She's not working. So 2 things about me. You smoke cigarettes. Is it good for you? No. monster rehab. You're gonna see this, where you'll see I have about 2 waters a day, and they're also full of BCAA powder. Helps keep me hydrated. It's also natural energy. But when I say I'm an entrepreneur, I'm not going to be one of those guys in here. Like, I'm a real life entrepreneur. I'm not a big, like, obviously I love business and all that, but I'm not going to say get up at 4 o'clock, work till 11 o'clock. You have to do your morning workout. You have to eat your breakfast. You got to have your mind set correct. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm real life, okay? I'm cold as it gets. I'm not putting on a show. Not cold as it gets, but like, I'm real as it gets. I'm not going to get on here and put on a show. I'm me. I'm going to tell you how I live my life, what I recommend. I'm here to try to help people out, provide solutions for stuff, and kind of more or less just share my life. I'm starting to do this for a couple different reasons. One, I think I'd have fun with it. For two, I do have twins, 4-year-old twins. That's a whole separate story itself, but more or less story is I've been kind of in and out of their lives, not by choice. Not going to get into that again, but I kind of think it would be nice for my kids, when I'm not there in their lives, etc., when they grow up, they can watch what I did every day. They can actually see the type of person I was, rather than little blitz. Whether it's a forever thing or not, but more of the story is me and my ex-fiance just broke up. Kind of does the normal situation where you can't really see the kids. So anyway, that's another reason of why I'm doing this. But I did want to get on here and let you guys know that I know I've done more talking than showing or explaining anything today. Tomorrow, my daily vlog tomorrow is going to be start to finish. That job pretty much start to finish. There'll be some time lapse in there. There'll be a lot of how-tos in there. Should be a day job. I have it booked for 2 days, so that will be fun. Tomorrow will be a lot different. You'll actually get to see more hands-on how to do some stuff. Seth will be there. You guys will be able to meet Seth a little bit more. I think he's in here a little bit today, but tomorrow will be a really nice day. That, and I gotta stop saying I have listened to myself many times. I will work on that, because I know the comments are gonna go crazy if anybody actually watches this. I will work on that. But I'm heading on out. Wish me luck that I can land this job if I want the job. I don't really necessarily have a general aspect of what it is. I don't know if I want it yet. Seth also was forcing me to go out and look at another 6.0 that he thinks that I need to own. Personally, I don't like to pay more than like 3, maybe 4 grand for them. I usually buy my project vehicles, well, my 6.0 Power Strokes, because it's the only diesel I touch, but I usually don't pay more than 3,500 bucks for them. I'll build them, sell them for 12,000, 15,000. Last year I sold one for 22 and one for 18. Both of them I did less than 5.4. This guy wants 6 grand. It's Seth's friend. I told him, I said, honestly, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna hurt the guy's feelings, because he told me it was all built and blah blah blah. Seth showed me a couple of photos of it. I'm like, sinister piping doesn't mean shit. Everybody likes putting colored 6.0 fucking piping on there. I'm like, Seth, the turbo's completely stock. I'm like, it doesn't even have a lip pump. The guy told you it's built, it's really tunes, and it has a fucking coolant filtration filter on it. I'm like, it's not built, it just looks pretty. I'm like, anyway, told him I'd go out there so he could put an ease to his mind. I told Seth, I said, I'm probably gonna hurt the guy's feelings if he really wants to make a price. Supposedly the guy's hard up for cash, so I kind of said, if he really wants me to make a price, I guarantee you I'm not telling him more than 3 grand. I'm like, I don't really need it at the end of the day, but if it makes you happy, I'll look at it. I have about a 20-minute gap anyway between giving this quote, so I figured I'll actually waste some time for once. Seth at least told the guy I'm probably not buying it anyway, so figured, why not? Might as well do that. I'll sip on coffee, and then I'll go drive 5 minutes from here, go do that estimate, and get it done. Pulling out of their driveway. This says who I am, right? These people just moved from Montana to the back country in Maine. They are living in an Amish-built shed. more or less, they're trying to live off the land, live a very cheap life. They wanted to be secluded. They have some huskies. They want an addition built for their huskies, right? You can tell they don't have a lot of money. So at the end of the day, the husband knows a rough idea what he's doing, but he actually needs help. And I straight up told him, this is, like I said, I'll still try to give a solution, but I don't want to do that job. It's not a money maker, but I do like helping people. That's why I'm in business. So when I told them, I said, hey, let's just do this. It'll cut the price in half. I said, I'll give you my labor for 3 or 4 days. Price will be in half, and it gets what you guys need. So at the same time, like, I'm not making any money on it, but my labor still gets his weekly paycheck, and I still get to provide a solution for those customers. So at the end of the day, sometimes you can turn down work. It just helps out a lot when you have a solution for it. So that's kind of what I did. Meanwhile, I'll make sure that that week that I don't have him, I book myself a job where I actually want to do it, where it's not, what they want isn't necessarily half-assed, but it's kind of, they want it framed, they want it roofed, that's it. It's not really something I like to do. I like to do start to finish. I don't really like working with roughs on. They have a lot of roughs on wood and whatnot. So that is what I'm going to do with that. I gave them my labor. I said, you know, I'll either find myself a job for that week, or I might end up just taking that week off. I like to do a lot of hiking and backpacking. This weekend I'll actually have a video up because I think I'm going to go do Katahdin out here in Maine this weekend for probably an overnight, maybe a 2-night backpacking trip. So at the end of the day, I gave them a solution. I helped them out. I didn't get greedy. I also didn't tell them, hey, this is going to be some absurd number that I already know they can't afford. So I'm not going to do that. At the end of the day, it's all right. I'm still happy because I was able to help them out. And again, if you're trying to go into business to make money, it's not going to work. If you want to make money, go work for another company doing a commission job if you're solely in it for the money. I'm not in it for the money. Don't get me wrong. The money's nice, but at the end of the day, I like providing a solution. I like seeing smiles on people's faces. I like customer interactions. That's really what it comes down to. I just like helping people. Did I have to do that? No, I definitely did not have to do that. Did I have to give up my labor for 4 days? No, I didn't have to do that. That was all by choice. That's because I still want to help them. Do I do that often? No. God, no. I'd almost never do that. But I work 7 days a week. I figured I probably should take a couple days to myself. I'm sure I'll end up booking myself something small to do. I have some run around, quick roof repairs I can do. At the end of the day, make sure that my labor has a check and I still get to help these people out. So that's the reasoning behind me doing